Hello everyone. So today I'm going to work on this Rappel tutorial. So here this is the demonstration. You can press R and you can attach a rope and then you can climb up like this. Here now we reached the top. We have detached our rope on the rappel. So in the same way I can climb down using the rappel. All you have to do is look at the rappel, aim for it, this attach point, this blue object, press R again and see. Now the character put the rappel down, attach it, and we can climb down in the same way. Yeah, this is now it's detached, so we can move away. So this is the system we are going to implement today. And in the first part of the series, of the tutorial series, this is what I want to focus on: how to create this rappel point blueprint so that we can distinguish from any other surface to a surface that I can attach my rope. And then here if I press R, you see the rope goes there and it gets attached, and if I press R again, it is detached and it's back on me. So yeah, that's the first part of what we are going to work on today. Alright, so before we get started, let me remind you that you can download the project files of this project and all other thousands of projects I have done in my channel from my Patreon page. To the date, there are over 2000 videos, and for each video, project files are accessible here. So there are all kinds of different projects in my channel, whether systems, open world systems, action RPGs, shooters, anything that you can imagine I have done. Most of covered a lot of different things in my channel, so everything is accessible for you once you become a member, so feel free to check it out. I'll leave the link in description below. And now let's get back to today's tutorial. Alright, so let's start with a fresh first person template project. I don't need starter contents or anything. I'll name it system. I think it should be okay. Hit create. Alright, so here is the default project. If I apply this, this is what I get. I have a first person character. I can shoot around. So first let me create a wall by extending this, because we need some wall to climb up. So something like this, and maybe another surface that we have some space up there as well. Alright. So now the next thing is I would need some point, a point that I can hook my rappel. So for that, let's create a new blueprint, maybe under here, or we can add a new folder. System, new active blueprint. I'll call it PP Rappel point. We have on this. So here, all we would need is some cube. Yeah, like this. I think we should assign this blue material to this. That looks good. Okay, and then let's add a smaller cube. Under this, I'll name it connect point. Should be smaller. I'll assign the yellow color. I think the project has to have some yellow color. Yeah, this one. Let's make it smaller. The cube should be smaller across all dimensions. Right. Now this would represent the point that I can hook my rappel, my rope. So let me add it here. So rappel point should be facing outward from the surface. So placing it like this. I need to place it like this. That's the two of them. Okay. Right. So the next step, let's go to the blueprint, character blueprint. Here, first step is to detect the rappel point. To do that, first let's set up some input action. Yeah, here we have the input actions. Let's create one input action. I'll call it IA wrapper. This will be fine. Go to the default. Should this be under default or under mapping? Under weapon? It doesn't really matter for testing at least. So I'll add it under default, and as the key I'll set R. Easy to remember. And this input mapping context should be already connected to our character or player controller, so I should be able to just use it without worrying about where it is integrated. So let's just print and see anyway. Yeah, I get it. Okay, but it should be, let's use this started. I don't need to see rappel as long as I keep the button hold. It should be only one per press. So like this. Okay. Now how do we determine the rappel point? So we can use a line trace for that. Maybe we have the first person camera here. So we can use line trace by channel, and as the starting point we can use the camera location. So get world location, that should be the starting point, and the ending point should be a point further away from the direction that we are looking at. So like the middle point, pointing outward from the middle of the camera, that would be like middle of the screen. So we can get that rotation. Oh, no, we can get forward from this. Let's assume we have a rope that is longer, let's say 400 units. So out multiply this by 4, let's say 4400 may not be enough. Then two together to get the endpoint. So visibility channel should be fine for now. And I'll add a debug type just to make sure that the line trace happens correctly. Yeah, we don't have a middle point here. Okay, so we do get it, but since we don't have a reticle, it's really hard to see the point that we are trying to aim. But this line trace is working. Let's just add a simple reticle. Widget WBP the canvas panel and adds the image. Center it to the middle. 5 by 5. Position 0, 0. So it's in the middle. But as for the size, let's make it very small. So it just needs some point we can identify. 2 by 2 should be enough, yeah. And we need to add this to viewport. So we can do that. Yeah. Do we have a begin play? Is that a begin play? Widget. So note that usually widget items are added in a HUD class, but we don't have a custom HUD class here. So I'll just use this as a quick solution, but if you are implementing a proper game, it would be better if you have a separate HUD class to manage these UI elements. To viewport. Alright, now yeah, we see a dot in the middle, so we know where we are aiming. So see, now we can do a hit, and actually we can hit any place, but still we don't know if that is a point that we can hook our rappel pro or whatever that we are using to rappel. So now maybe here we can, let's add a database API. Yeah, get rappel should return. First, this should return some boolean to show that this is in fact a point that I can hook my wrapper. So wrapper, this should return true. We would need another vector. Uh, another vector to give the normal of the wrapper location, because it could be from any it could be pointing to a outward from any direction in the surface. So wrapper. Now let's implement that interface here. We are wrapper point. Define category to typo here. APPLE. Go back to the Rappel point object. Point. So the point would be this connect point location. Good. Word location. And also we should return true here. Okay. And get forward vector. This should be the Rappel normal. Right. Right. Now here back in the character, if we get an out hit, let's make sure that we have a valid hit first. Yes, we can break this hit result, get the hit actor. Then we can use get Rappel point, the print interface function, determine if we hit a Rappel point. So if this is true, that means we found a Rappel point. So let's that. Let's add a print. Point. This would be false for a none for a point that we can't Rappel. This would be true for a point that we can Rappel. So here, now if I press R here, you see Rappel paint, or it should be point. Rappel point would be false. Rappel point false, Rappel point false. If I hit here, Rappel point true. Great. Now let me move these. Points. We don't need them anymore. Okay, now we need a rope, something to represent rope. So we can add a cable component here, something like this. Let's move it a bit forward. Yeah, something like this. And if I play, I should see it in front of me. Yeah, here is the cable. So we don't need to see that all the time, but let's leave it like that for now. We don't need this, we don't need. And then here we have an option to attach into a component name. So let's add a scene component. Let's call it and shouldn't be a child of the cable. Let's attach the cable end to it shouldn't have an offset, so like this. Now here, if I move the Rappel end, you see the cable is moving with that. It doesn't look perfect, of course, but it should be a good enough representation of the Rappel. Okay, now if we hit a rappel point, then I'll get the rappel end and I'll detach from a component so that we can independently move this rappel end even if the character is moving. So it will not stay attached to the character. It will not move. Location rule, keep world, rotation, keep world, scale, keep world. Everything keep world. And then I'll move this rappel end to the rappel location. So I can snap the location, of course, but I like to use this so we would see some smooth movement. So I think it would be better if we promote these two variables. Location, rappel normal. So this I'll move to rappel location. I don't think I need to set any rotation, so this should be fine. And let's do 𝐒𝐶 out as well. 0.5 seconds. Alright. Now let's see what happens. The rope should go over there. Here we have the rope. Press R. See? Now the rope is attached to the rappel point. It can move like this. Okay. And while I am at this, if I press R again, you see, it can move like that. But that looks wrong, of course. So maybe we should have some different here. Instead of directly using like this, I'll add a custom event. Let's call it toggle wrap. Here, I'll call it toggle wrap. Now, let's keep a variable. Oh no, let's call it on wrapper. It would be better. On wrapper. So if we are on wrapper, if we are not on wrapper currently, we should do this. But if we are on wrapper, we need to simply detach the wrapper. That would mean moving the wrapper back to the original location. But before that, yeah, we should set it to go. Now to detach it, I'll get the wrapper and attach, go to component. Okay, and the parent would be, let's say, mesh. I'll keep everything world. Then, just like before, I'll use move component to move to 0. That would move it back to the character. Reset on to false. Right. Let's see. Now I should be able to detach the wrapper. If I press R again, so it's attached again. Press R again. Yeah, it's back. Attach again. So if I try to attach, redo, it's not going there. It's just detaching. All right. And cool. One last thing. I don't think we should keep the cable visible by default. So here I'll set hidden in game to true by default, and here when we call unravel, when we set it to true, I'll make it visible. So set hidden in game to false. Set it hidden in game to true again when we detach it. So here by default, if I look down, we don't see a wrapper. But if I attach it, so if I try to attach to something else also, we don't see that. But if I click here, now we see the rope. And if I press R again, it comes back, and now we don't see the wrapper. Alright, so thanks for watching. I think I'll address the climbing up part in the next episode. I don't want to do that in this episode itself. It might make the episode longer. So thanks for watching. But the project files will be available in my Patreon page for download. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and see you in another episode. Goodbye.